So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast, where we will look back on the first WSL outing of the season when Aston Villa took on Chelsea last Friday night. Stephen, thanks for joining us. How are you?
Thanks for having me. Well, not too bad.
Good stuff. What did you think of the match?
I thought it was a good performance against a good team. It was hard to tell what Chelsea team's going to come up, with a brand new manager. Same with Villa, brand new manager. You don't know how the game's going to go. I thought get a good account of themselves, really.
Yeah, I really think they did. I suppose it could be described as a spirited performance more than anything else. There's going to be a number of moral victories there with how well we played. Let's start by talking through the starting lineup if you want to run us through it.
Well, there's a few debuts for Villa here today. We had D'Angelo in goal, signed from Arsenal. We had a left back, Paula Thomas. And there's Lucy Parker alongside Anna Patton, with Maritz at right back, with Staniforth and Jordan Nobbs in front. Then on the left there's Daly with Missy Bo Kearns and Rachel Daly in the middle, and then on the right there was another debut, Chastity Grant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and did any of those debutants stand out for you tonight?
I thought Paula Thomas was very good at left back.
Yeah.
And Chastity Grant looked very strong. Very fast as well. Problems.
Both will really grow into this league as well. I fear for my favourite player, Maz Pacheco, sitting on the bench. He'll struggle to get in at left back, I think.
Yeah.
Look, it was one of those games where, as well, it was the game of two halves. We were reduced to very little opportunities in the first half. Missy Bo Kearns shot over the bar, Jordan Nobbs straight at Hannah Hampton. And then on 36 minutes, while the fireworks lit up the sky, Chelsea, let's face it, scored a great goal.
Yeah, it was a brilliant finish. Paula Thomas was a bit isolated off the left side. They all kind of dragged to the right, and then it's kind of a 2-on-1 situation. And she just shot from well outside the box. But it'd been coming. We've been giving the ball away a lot in very dangerous areas, and we've been let off the hook. And then to see a goal like that then was...
Well, I think I'd prefer to concede a goal like that than a number of the scrappy efforts that came throughout the game. By God, what a tremendous chop she made to wrong foot Paula Thomas before firing it beyond. No goalkeeper in the world is saving that one. And let's give a special mention for our new goalkeeper, Sabrina D'Angelo. She was very good, I thought, and very, very secure under the ball throughout the game.
Yeah, she was... At Arsenal, she wasn't really the first choice, but she still had a few games, and it showed. She's played in the WSL a good few times, and she was very comfortable today. I should have given her a shout out when we were talking about the debutants, but all four of them were quite good, to be fair.
Yeah, and look, we've a lot of the old guard there as well. Plus, obviously there was a lot of players on the bench. There's a couple come on to Robinson, come on, Hansen. Adriana Leon and Ebony Salmon as well, which we'll get to later on. I think all in all, you'd probably say that Chelsea probably shaded it in the first half, and we really grew into the game then in the second half.
Oh, you have to say that, yeah.
It was like, as we said already, it was definitely a game of two halves. We came out and we seemed to go at them a lot more in the second half, while there was probably less action in the box on both boxes. It was mainly us that were doing the pushing for the goal in the second half.
I think we had the biggest chance in the first half, though. Missy Bo Kearns kind of had a chance at the edge of the 6-yard box, went wide and over the bar. Chelsea didn't really create very many chances.
No, that was probably the most open chance. If we don't want to go down the road and talk about XG, but if we were talking about XG, we probably would have been Villa ahead in the first half with that chance that was created. So with a substitution at half time, where Lucy Staniforth made way for Kirsty Hansen, mainly down to what the referee did in the first few minutes.
Yeah, well, you can't complain about that yellow card now.
Absolutely not.
Even though she did.
She did complain, yeah. But look, you think 3 or 4 minutes into a game you're going to get away with a tackle like that, but I think it was correctly yellow card given for that one.
Then another foul at the edge of the box just before half time kind of secured the substitution.
Well, I think that forced the hand of Robert DePauw then to make that substitution at half time. I'm sure it wasn't what he wanted to do so early into his career, take someone on at half time. But look, we came into it. There was an incident just a couple of minutes into the second half where there was nearly a pinball around the box before it eventually fell into the kind hands of Hannah Hampton. She was very grateful for it. Hannah Hampton playing against her old team, she had a particularly good game, didn't she?
She did, especially towards the end. She made some huge saves.
Sad
to see it against us, but
yeah, and look, it I suppose the fact that we have Hannah Hampton play for Chelsea, who are the champions, and the fact that Van Domselaar has gone to Arsenal, probably the next biggest rival to Chelsea, that we are creating the talent and unearthing the talent to come in there. So who knows what that next one might be, but yeah, I hope we can hold on to our goalkeeper this time and she can forge a career with Aston Villa. Daly then, a long range header. Probably wasn't as dramatic as the Villa Twitter made it out to be, right in the crossbar, but yeah, the loop and long range header.
Nearly caught Hampton out though.
Very nearly. I think she had it covered though, in fairness to her.
A long time in the air to catch her out.
Yeah. It bounced on the top of the crossbar as opposed to smashing the crossbar. Yeah, there was a number of Chelsea had a couple of chances. Then Buchanan had a header. Cuthbert had a couple of chances. One saved well or handled well, let's say, by Sabrina D'Angelo. Before we get to the end of the game, we had a bit of a frantic couple of minutes. But before we get to that, Adriana Leon had a good header at the back post, which just cannoned off the shins of a defender, which probably could have been a different story on this game.
Yeah, her substitution was a big impact on the game. You often see substitutions coming on and the game going a bit flat, but it just went into the chaos almost when she came on. She look at George Bunny running around the pitch, making runs off the ball.
Yeah. And I think personally she had a point to prove with that performance, and I think she did very well when she came on.
Yeah, last season's more the same as well. She'd come on, she'd make an impact. Wasn't enough goals scored last season either, but
no, and you can't really blame her for that either. There was many more. Well, look, we'll get towards. We had a Parker nearly scored an own goal towards the end as well. Thankfully, fell into the hands of the goalkeeper as well. And then we had a number of set pieces. The first one, Rachel Daly gets to a fantastic header, which is saved particularly well. And then we're virtually the last play of the game. We get a free kick. Do you want to run us through it?
Well, Chelsea backs against the wall, and who's coming up for the free kick? Only Sabrina D'Angelo, our new signing, and the ball comes in, finds her head, and tipped onto the crossbar by Hannah Hampton. Yeah.
Oh, look, it was a pity. It would have been a fitting end. No matter who got it, it would have been a fitting end to what we can only describe as a great performance. They were really, really good. Very, very hard to pick out a player of the match. Could you?
I suppose I'll have to now I'm on the podcast. But I'll have to go with Paula Thomas on her debut. I thought from the very start she was very solid. She might have been cut out a few times when she was going forward. See, Noelle Moritz was a bit more reluctant to go forward, but Paula Thomas every time gone down the wing as soon as we get the ball.
Yeah, and that looked out. I reckon that was one of the tactics that we took in Noelle Moritz and play with a three when we had the ball. But Paula Thomas is just a dynamo going forward, and I think when she grows into this Premier League, she's going to be a fantastic signing. Obviously, we were out without what seems to be a record signing. We don't know how much we paid for her, but our Brazilian international will be back and will be a welcome addition to freshen up things in the top end of the pitch. Have you any idea how much percentage we had in this game?
Possession?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
53%.
We 53%.
Yeah, you
Most
wouldn't.
of that coming in the second half.
I would imagine so. Yeah. I didn't see the breakdown from the first half, no, but you know, it was a fairly even game. I don't think we can be too upset with the outcome. They took their chance. We didn't.
Yeah.
We probably had the better of the chances to go and win the game. And both of us had 13 shots. We had 5 on target. They had 4. You know, the XG, as we spoke about, it gives us one big chance, whereas they had none. And and we were even on the accurate passes, a passing accuracy of 81%, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And we had 356 passes to their 330. So we on paper we slightly shaded it, but you know, I don't think we could have any arguments with the final outcome.
I think the possession's a big deal, considering Chelsea manager came out after the match to describe her philosophy, and it was all about keeping the ball and having possession, and then she didn't even have it today.
Yeah. It was nice of the BBC to give our manager a few words at the end of the game, wasn't
it?
Yeah. For the record, they didn't.
Yeah.
Look, we've been. I think we can safely say we're happy enough with the performance. I think it's. I think it'll be a completely different game at the weekend. Tottenham, while they opened their accounts with a 4-0 win, it was against newly promoted Crystal Palace, who are largely expected to be the whipping girls of this group. It's a huge occasion for our girls this weekend as they line out for the first of what will be many trips to Villa Park. What do you think of us moving into Villa Park?
Brilliant being in Villa Park. You know, just the attendances will speak for themselves this season, I'd say. Walsall, it's a pretty tough place to get to, especially when all of your fan base is there in Birmingham. When it's on your doorstep, you're more likely to go. And
well, that's the hope.
People in the door.
Yeah, and look, it's our stadium, and you'd hope that people will buy into it and get there as often as they can. It may not be as good this weekend with attendance wise with our men's team playing just before it, but I'm sure if you get down there, you'll be able to watch it on the screens around Villa Park, I would imagine.
And for the girls to walk out and see "Welcome Villa Park" and not "Welcome to the Poundland Stadium," be a bit of a motivator, I'd say.
And no disrespect to the Poundland Stadium, but it's not our stadium, so it's great that the club can go and use this as a springboard, hopefully, to the future, where we can see regularly big attendances come and enjoy the facilities around Villa Park. I think we'll have to get over to a women's game this year. What do you reckon?
Definitely have to.
It'll take a little bit of planning, but we'll get there for sure. But look, that's where we're going to leave it for now. Thanks everybody for watching and listening. We look forward to the game at the weekend. It's at 4:30. Let us know in the comments if you enjoyed this, anything you do different. If you want to take part and get involved, by all means, do drop us a message or leave a message in the comments, and we'll get back to you. You can find us on all of the social network platforms if you want to leave us a message there. But in the meantime, it's onwards to Sunday. We'll be back next week, and we'll hopefully be talking about 3 points on the board. What do you reckon?
Well, it's got to come, doesn't it?
Well, look, we had such a monstrous run at the start of last season with the fixtures. Hopefully now we can go and get a couple of points on the board and springboard from there. But I think this performance will give us some heart.
Yeah, well, onwards and upwards from here.
Upwards. Thanks everybody. As I said, we'll be back to you next week with week 2 of the WSL, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.